So part of the whole reason I started this whole YouTube and Instagram channel was to talk about how to actually build muscle as a low power mode, how to actually build muscle as a diabetic, and I've actually haven't made a single video about that. So we're currently eating uh, toast with peanut butter, bananas, a little bit of honey, a little bit of cinnamon, and chocolate milk. But I figured I would just like give a brief talk as to why it's different for diabetics to build muscle. And it's really just because we don't produce insulin through our bodies. So like we have insulin pumps you've probably seen in videos. Like this is my insulin pump right here. And then I also have a Dexcom. Where is it? It's on this arm. Can't see it through there, but you've probably seen it in videos before. But pretty much, insulin is a key factor in actually building muscle, and it really just the less insulin you have in your body, the less muscle is actually able to grow. And I'm more than happy to like, post videos about studies that have been done on that, the scientific research on that. But yeah, because our bodies don't produce insulin itself, and we have to have insulin pumps, it's much harder to grow muscle. And not just that though. So like being in the gym, doing any sort of exercise actually lowers our blood sugar. So I keep like a bottle of raw honey in my backpack just in case I get low. I always make sure my sugar's like above 200 before I work out. They say to like have it at like 150 before I work out, but I find that's way too low in general because then I'm just gonna drop down. Anything like below 100 working out is like that's a no go. So I try to get it a lot higher than that. Um, but yeah, so we run the risk of our blood sugar getting really low when we're working out. I find that with me, it doesn't necessarily happen with working out more than it does any cardio. So like when I'm playing basketball, like that drops real bad. But when I'm weightlifting, that doesn't seem to drop it as much. It still does, but it's at a much slower rate. So like by the time it's getting low, I'm done the workout, so I don't really need to worry about that. And then the third thing that makes it a little difficult is trying to bulk, because we need to watch our carb intake, need to watch our sugar intake. Many people think it's like, oh, you can't eat sugar. Like, no, it's obviously like you don't want to eat sugar packed stuff, but it's mainly the carbs. So like eating slow digesting carbs like bagels and pasta and sometimes like smoothies, milkshakes, stuff like that. That really affects blood sugar because that's like you're here and then you shoot up, right? Slow digesting just means it takes longer for the glucose to process. Um, and then stuff like gushers or, sometimes pre-workout, depending on just how much sugar's in there, that'll just instantly spike it, so eating like stuff like this, which is good, sustainable carbs, like bananas are great. Honey, like I said, is great because that's just honestly sugar. It's great. Peanut butter is great. Peanuts are great. But just watching what we eat to make sure that what we eat is not actually shooting our blood sugars up super high to an unhealthy level. And so let's say like I'm having a post-workout meal, right? Like I can't just stuff my face with food to the point where I can't eat anymore because then my blood sugar is going to be through the roof. I'm going to be 300. I'll be at risk for ketosis and stuff like that, right? And then also we need to make sure we are consistently eating so we don't get low, right? So it's a balance thing that you really need to pay attention with. So I want to make more videos about actually the diabetes side of this because I feel like recently I've just been kind of doing the actual like weightlifting side of things. But I think this is a good intro to that. So hopefully you guys learned something new in this, and I will keep posting stuff about actual diabetic stuff involved with this. Thank you.